This is Cully Perlman for NovelMasterClass.com. Today I just wanted to have a quick 101 sort of session for beginning writers. So I figured I'd answer 5 questions just off the cuff based on my experience. So let's get to it. So question number 1, I want to write a book. How do I start? Well, writing a book isn't something you just start, right? It's something that you have to plan out, have to figure out how to write, and that requires that you understand what it means to write. Right. So the best thing I can tell you is read books that you write, read books that you like. Figure out how the author does what he or she does. Read scenes, read dialogue, read exposition, characterization. Is there something about the book in particular that keeps you attracted to it? Are the scenes compelling so much so that you can't stop reading? Is the description so wonderful that you can see everything in bright, colorful lights? If that's the case, great. Now start writing. Start reading books about writing and learn from there. That's the easiest way to do it. You have to actually ride a bike in order to learn how to ride a bike, right? So learning to write is the same thing. You learn how to write by writing. The next question is, how do I improve my writing? Well, that's pretty similar to what I just said, right? I have an MFA in fiction, but I've been writing for probably 20 years prior to getting that MFA. I read a lot of books, craft books on writing, books on scene, books on description, books on exposition, and so on. Watched a lot of writers talk and speak about writing, getting educated in it. Took creative writing classes. I workshopped with different people when I was younger in terms of, sharing my work with them and them providing feedback, and then me either taking their feedback or not taking their feedback based on what it did to help or hinder what I was trying to say, or what I was doing for my short fiction, but also my novels, because I started writing novels probably immediately after short fiction, just because novels are my preference. So, number 3, I have an idea for a book. Here's the premise. What do you think? And then they go into the premise. It's irrelevant what I think about your premise, right? The book that you write is the one that you feel that you must write. It's not somebody else that gives you their opinion on whether or not you should write it. If you have a plot, if you have an idea, for whatever kind of book that you're writing, start writing it. See how you do with it. See where it goes. But don't take somebody's opinion on whether or not you're going to jump into a project, especially if it's something as long as a novel. That's up to you. It's the world that you're going to be living in for a few weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever. So, it's okay to ask people what they think, but for me, I never do that. Everybody has an opinion about something, and it's your opinion that matters because you're the one that's going to be writing the book. Number 4, is it still worth writing a book? That's a weird question for me. I think for me, I never sat there and thought, I'm going to make $1 million writing a book. What does it mean when you say worth? So is it still worth writing a book? In terms of financially, well, I don't think it's ever been, worth it financially, because the reality is most writers don't make a lot of money. It's a few writers here and there, and you probably see the same names over and over again on the top 10 bestseller lists in New York Times or whatever. So is it worth it for me personally to write? Absolutely. I can't not write. And that's what makes me a writer. That's what makes most writers, right? They want to write. They benefit from the process, from the act of writing, because they're enjoying it, right? You might like writing a first draft, but hate editing. So there's a good chance you're not going to get published if that's the way it is. But if you like the whole process, if you like the figuring out the characters, figuring out what they want, figuring out the plot, writing the first draft, second draft, third draft, revising, rewriting, getting critiqued, going back again and doing the whole thing all over again and starting from scratch, then you're a writer and it's worth it for you. Don't go into writing thinking you're going to make $1 million. If you do, great, fantastic, it's awesome, but you're a unicorn. Most people don't make money writing. They do it for the love of writing. And the last question is, I self-published my book, but it's not selling. What do I do? Well, first off, your book better be written very well. You have to know what you're doing in terms of writing. You have to have somebody edit it. In my opinion, you can edit yourself, of course, but, it depends on, what your level is in terms of writing and editing and your overall comfort with writing a book. Now, if you self-published it, I'm assuming either that was your goal from the beginning, meaning that you didn't want to go through a traditional publisher, you didn't want to have to chase after an agent in order to get one, so that they would submit it to, the big five or traditional publishers in general. So it's up to you. I'm not going to criticize you for self-publishing, but some of us don't self-publish because we've grown up with the idea of getting an agent and then having them submit your work to traditional publishers so that they will acquire your book and then publish it. If you're not selling books, after you self-publish, are you marketing it? Have you, researched the idea of how to figure out how to put your book out there for people to actually know that it exists? Have you gotten people to blurb it? Anybody well-known? If you have, then put that out there. But there's a whole, plethora of different ways that you can market your self-published book. There's social media, there's paid advertisements that you can do. You can try to set up readings, you can try to get on podcasts, but there's tons and tons of ways for you to be able to self-publish your book and then advertise it and market it. But it has to be a good book, in my opinion. It has to be sort of focused in on the niche that you're looking for, or highly sellable for some reason. Romance is very big, so romance sells a lot, science fiction sells a lot. What I write is literary fiction, which doesn't sell a lot, but that's what I enjoy writing. But don't give up. Just keep on going, and hopefully you'll be able to sell over time. Just keep writing, keep improving your writing, making sure that with every book you're advancing your craft. And don't give up. Like I said, just keep going at it and do what you can in order to make sure that you're writing the best book that you can. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.